doesn't mean they were raised from happy chickens. Those chickens might have been confined in very close quarters. So to know that the animal products you're eating are really organic and from happy chickens, you need to know your farmer well. I think I already. So we used to serve dead cattle to other cattle. That practice has been eliminated. It's led to the evolution of mad cow disease that people have heard about. That's the topic of a whole course, a whole lecture. Yet we still do feed chicken byproducts to animals that are not meant to eat chicken byproducts. That's not an organic practice. You can't use chemicals to chemotherapy to kill worms or insects or other parasites or infections in organic birds or organic animals and call them organic. You can't give them routine antibiotics. You can give them antibiotics if they're sick, if you need to treat an illness. But you can't just do what a lot of cattle farmers do, which is feed low-level antibiotics to the animals just because it's known that when you do that, the animal gets bigger, fatter, faster. And that means more profit for the cattle rancher. But that's not organic. And you can't give routine hormones or GMO feed and call yourself organic. This is like the farming hero, Joel Salatin. He has a farm in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. It's actually not just a flat farm like most people are familiar with. It has hills and forest, and really the only area that is planted with anything is, and it's not really planted because he didn't seed it, it just grows grass. He calls himself a grass farmer, and that's only 100 acres. And on those 100 acres, he grows animals. He grows the grass to feed the animals because he's providing meat. And on his 100 acres of grass, each year he yields 40,000 pounds of beef, 30,000 pounds of pork, 10,000 chicken broilers, 1,200 turkeys, 1,000 rabbits, and 35,000 dozen eggs. So he gets a lot of meat off of his grassland. And he's an organic gardener, although he doesn't like the term organic, because Big Ag has polluted the meaning of organic. Because organic doesn't necessarily mean sustainable, and it doesn't necessarily mean animal friendly. But so maybe I shouldn't spend so much time on him because I have other stuff to talk about, but basically, he lets the animals and nature work together to create a better product that enriches the soil rather than depletes the soil. In winter, he has cows under a simple awning in the winter that's snowy there, and with wood chips that act as a diaper to collect the waste so that it doesn't enter the environment, doesn't leach into the water system, and it doesn't evaporate into the air. And even though they generate a lot of waste each day, it doesn't smell. And he also throws in corn that once it's stomped into this bed of composting wood chips and hay, it starts to ferment. Then in spring, the cows are let out to pasture, the pigs come in, they burrow through the compost to find the corn that they like to eat, and then they aerate the compost and allow it to further decompose. And so they're all working together. Yes?
Is that the person from that Food Inc. documentary, or is that different?
He might have been on Food Inc. Yeah, towards the end. He wrote a book called Everything I Want to Do is Illegal, and a lot of other books. He's quite a famous guy. I think he was on Food Inc. And then the cows are let out to pasture to do what they do, move, mob, and mow. And so for every quarter acre, there are 100 cows in this enclosed area that's got the grass growing. And they trim the grass, they eat it, and then the next day they move to a different pasture. And so that's rotational grazing. They don't destroy the grass, they mow it. And they also drop their waste. And in 3 days, the fly larvae, in 3 days, the fly eggs begin to hatch, and there's fly larvae, and he brings in the chickens that eat the fly larvae. So he calls that cleaning it, sanitizing it. And then after that, and they also disperse the fertilizer, the poop. And then in 6 weeks he has new grass to start the cycle over again. And when the grass is mowed by the cows, they break their roots because they like the roots in the grass to be the same size. And the grass that they break off into the soil is feeding the soil organisms. So they're feeding the soil. And then each year they get more life out of their land, not less, more fertility out of their land, not less, and more soil out of their land, not less. And so his farming operation, one cow can persist on 1 acre for 400 days, or 400 cows can persist on 1 acre for 1 day, which is 5 times greater than his average, the county average where he lives. So that's truly organic and sustainable. So again, the rural-urban divide, 80% of people living on 3% of the land, 80% of people living in cities. The solution to that? Oh, in 1910, Los Angeles was the most productive agricultural county. In 1955, we couldn't feed ourselves, let alone any other part of California or the world. People in the city are disconnected from the food source. Yes, you give a kid a salad with a piece of lettuce. Oh, that looks like a plant. Yeah. Oh, where do you get a tomato? Oh, I don't know. Right? That's disconnection. So the solution is local food security, growing it locally. Even this UC Berkeley Nobel Prize winning energy scientist has rated urban farming as one of the top 5 priorities for a sustainable future. Even though he doesn't think that it's going to help global greenhouse gas problems too much, he still believes it's part of a sustainable future. This Ohio State University professor, Carpenter Rule, who lives in Cleveland, says that based on his research, Cleveland has 3,000 acres of vacant lots, 2,900 acres of flat rooftops, over 200 community gardens, amounting to 50 acres, and his calculations show that this amount of available land is enough to feed Cleveland 100% of their fresh produce needs, 100% of their honey, and almost all of their poultry and eggs in a city, and he extrapolates that to other U.S. cities. So some examples of rooftop gardening. Brooklyn Grange, the largest rooftop garden in the country, perhaps in the world. It's 40,000 square feet. It's a for-profit farm. Seattle's also ahead of the curve. 50,000 square feet on a rooftop, public community garden. Here's Long Beach, not used, waste of space. That's the top of the Civic Center rooftop. The only part of the Civic Center rooftop that's gardened is the part that the officials get to look out on. The rest of it is just concrete. Other ways cities can grow food is going up vertically. Here's an example in Atlanta Botanical Gardens and the vertical herb garden. And here's a futuristic thing that I don't really think is sustainable because it's very expensive to build, but there's this Swedish company, Plantagon, that is talking about building these very sophisticated, technologically driven greenhouses for cities. I like things that look green. So basically, how much, to bring it truly local is to bring it into your own backyard. And you need, and I didn't do this math myself either, but you, oh, shoot. What did I just do?
What are you trying to do?
I messed up, that's what I did. I want to show
Go
it.
back to view full screen. And I think it'll start it from where you are.
All right, you need, bottom line is, you need land for vegetables, you need land, and so you need land for vegetables, you need land for animals if you eat animals. And these people estimate that if provided you don't throw